You mentioned a little bit about O'Neal Fisher playing for his speed yesterday. Was there any reason other than rest for Mears and Scott to be out of the 18?
No, just rest. I mean, Mears has logged a lot of minutes, and Scott has logged a lot of minutes recently. Yeah, so just a little bit of rotation.
With Tony Alfaro, is that just another rotation thing, or is it kind of reflective of how you see the depth?
Well, Tony Alfaro's developed and shown that he's capable of stepping on the field and contributing. So, it gave us a good opportunity to give Zach a complete day of rest.
What have you made of Tyrone's overall performance this year? Is he kind of sort of?
I think it's been good. I think it's been good, and I thought the game against the Galaxy. I mean, the work rate he put in that game and the way he pushed forward was fantastic.
Has Jordan Morris been doing a lot of individual work with Ante Razov this year? Is that correct?
They've done some individual work. Trying to get his feet right on his shooting. Sometimes on light training days or different training days when they're behind, they'll do individual work with Ante in terms of sled work and finishing and dribbling, but it's more about just getting his feet right. But he's also, he's also improved his game an awful lot just in terms of connecting and holding the play up and again connecting with his teammates, and that just comes from regular practice.
Quick turnaround going to Portland. What are your early impressions?
Obviously Portland's a good team. They were MLS Cup champions last year. Their team is different when Valeri plays or doesn't play. So that's a key factor for this. So we're each coming off the same amount of rest. But they've still got, quality players, and we've got to make sure we do a good job with them.
With Dallas, you mentioned you wanted to take away their service and kind of neutralize Diaz. In regards to Portland, what would be something that you're going to be looking forward to do?
It's the same thing. We got to put them under a little bit of pressure. When they have the ball, make it a little more difficult to get out of the back. And, we got to make sure Nagby doesn't get a chance to run at us with the ball.
Sigi, the club's been successful bringing up young players. Can you talk about the club's commitment to bringing up young players?
I think we've always had a commitment in that area. People forget that when we started this club in 2009, we had a lot of young players by the name of Alonso and Montero and Evans and, guys like that who really pushed through and played well, for us. And so a lot of those young players, are the guys that are now our older veterans. And I think, Roldan, started to get some minutes last year, and we bloodied him a little bit last year. So I think his growth and development has been good. Kovar continues to grow and develop as well within there. Morris now is another academy kid who's growing with us and developing. And one of the things, we've always taken pride in is that we're able to identify some players like that and bring them along.
And the league also looks to do that with the growth of the homegrown All-Star game and things like that. Can you talk about the league mandate or better?
It's just, I think for each club, there's the financial benefits of your investing money in your academy system. So being able to have players come through, sometimes I'm not sure how the homegrown team gets picked, because you got players who don't get picked who are homegrowns who've played in the first team, and you get another homegrown, he's only played for their reserve team, he's never logged the first team minute, but yet is selected for the homegrown game. Why that is, I'm not quite sure, but I think when you look around the league, there's obviously every team, has some players now that come through out of that. I know Dallas has been given a lot of credit for it, that they have a lot of guys, and certainly guys like Acosta and guys like Ulloa and so forth have certainly played a lot. They've also pushed a lot of guys in that, have not made it, but they've given an opportunity to them. And I think that's the way it is with a homegrown. You give a guy an opportunity, in our case, with a Kovar, as a Darwin Jones, as a Victor Mansarai, and you eventually see who's able to swim, at that next level. But I think all the teams in the league have, probably 4 to 5 players on their roster now that have come through their academy system.
You've coached college and pro. Have you seen that gap between going from college to pro narrow or
I'm a big believer that I think, playing college, depending on the length of time, does not stunt the player's development. They've got to be in the right college environment, for one. And then, like I said, the other part of it is, for some guys it's 1 year, for some guys it's 2, for some guys maybe it's 3. But I think what helps them in the development by going to college sometimes is living away from home, growing up and maturing as a person off the field. All of a sudden have to set up their own phone, maybe have their own apartment and pay their own bills, and all that, that maturation off the field is also part of the development on the field. And but for some guys, again, it's really individual. For some guys, the best choice is not to go to college. For some guys, it's a good choice to go for a year and then come out. For some guys, it might be staying all 4 years, but it doesn't have to. There's this feeling out there that it necessarily stunts your growth. It doesn't stunt your growth, unless you allow it to.
Judging from the reaction to his goal, Christian certainly is a popular guy within the locker room. Why do you think that is? It certainly seems like he's developed sort of a lot of friendships within the team pretty quickly.
Christian just has a good personality. He gets along with a lot of people. He's outgoing. He's always got a smile on his face. He comes to work hard every day. So the players take note of that. Obviously he speaks English and Spanish, as well. So he's a good sometimes go-between. So he can relate to pretty much everyone.
Sure. Do you see, obviously he's only a second-year player, but do you see leadership qualities in him that are uncommon for a guy his age and stepping into an environment like this?
It's too early to tag that onto him, but, certainly he's a guy who leads in terms of the example and the effort that he puts in. I think that's an important aspect to his game. But he's also a player that, as team's hierarchy changes, he's somebody who I feel could in the future step into a leadership role.
Sure.
Is there any added dimension to the Portland rivalry now that they've got an MLS Cup under their belt, or do you think it's kind of the same level of intensity regardless?
It's the same. I know they're excited about that. I still think they have some trophies to go to catch us. Obviously, MLS Cup is considered the biggest trophy, but that is the way it is. My feelings. It's a tournament, and anybody can win a tournament, just like anybody can win an Open Cup tournament. In fairness, if we could take our Open Cup tournament success and turn it into MLS Cup success, we certainly would.
With the rumors that have come with Ladera, will you be watching the Boca Juniors game tonight?
I watch Boca Juniors because of Chiloto. Guillermo played for me. Guillermo and me we're still friends. We're always in contact to each other. We probably email or talk, 2-3 times a month. So I always, watch for Guillermo. And then you get confused when his twin brother gets up and says,
Have you had a chance to get a better look at Dempsey's red card?
Yeah.
Changed.
I feel the same. Should have been red for both, or a yellow for both. I think I know what the rules are. I thought the contact was incidental. But when you got a guy who's already committed 4 fouls in 5 minutes against the same player, the referees have to protect that player.